Once again, this is kvci.blogspot.com. This is G.B.R. Winter Conference held in Quitman, Georgia. 105.9 here in Valdosta, Georgia. Chris Beckham referred to Al Sharpton's organization, the National Action Network, and that the speaker just may have gotten it wrong or didn't quite understand. And me, on Boston G.B.R. channel, want you to have the truth, since the people here in Valdosta heard the Honorable Joseph Lowry, and of course here a representative of the National Action Network. And now we're going to play you Chris Beckham, who has an opportunity to invite Al Sharpton or his representative on his program to explain what Mr. Beckham just maybe did not quite understand. Listen, please.
Weren't looking, and then we won again. Then we came back and won again. I'm not exactly sure. I assume he means won by winning the election. I'm not sure what the winning again part is. But then it comes to this issue of voter suppression. Now, the Reverend Vision Jones was here. He was the president-elect for Al Sharpton's National Action Network in Atlanta. He was here in Quitman. He said the Reverend Al Sharpton is behind the cause of the Quitman 10+12. And his quote was, voter suppression is something that is very important to the National Action Network in any form. So when we see that the Quitman 10, now +2, used all the legal ways of getting elected and then are being targeted, we realize the voter fraud is actually of those who are trying to block the vote. Okay, he made one comment in there where he said all the legal ways of getting elected. That's what we don't know yet. That's what's going to be determined in the trial. If it was indeed legal ways. If a jury finds that it was, then okay, you're absolutely right. But that's what's in question now. That's what we don't know. Listen, I'm all against voter suppression as well. I think everyone should have the opportunity to vote in the election, any election of which they can or should. But when you're talking about going to people's homes and being in possession of absentee ballots, and I'm not saying that they were, but that's what's being investigated, then that's illegal. That's what we're trying to find out. Don't cloud the issue with voter suppression. If you're talking about early voting and things of that nature, well, that, to me, again, doesn't have anything to do with voter suppression. Early voting, I'm all for. We need more opportunities for people to go out and cast their ballot. Now, I think there's a line that could be drawn there. I don't think we need 6 weeks. To be quite honest with you, in Georgia, you could go and early vote on Saturday. You know what that costs the state? To have that open on Saturday costs a good bit. In my mind, 2 weeks of early voting is plenty. If in 11 days you can't find a way to get to the polls and make your voice heard.
Let me pause here and say that it also brought up that if we could spend all that money in Iraq and other wars, then truly we could afford to keep the polls open so people could exercise their right to vote. Let's continue.
Well, then you're a pretty sorry citizen. We don't need 6 weeks. Right now we have 3 weeks, and I think that's a plenty. But I think 2 weeks would be just fine. I would like to have some early voting. I don't think we need to have 6 weeks, or 3 weeks, to be honest with you. But 3 weeks I can live with it. The people have a right to vote who they want in office, and after the people have spoken, it is not up to anyone to go in and try to remove, by using their power of tactics and intimidation, to try to remove those who were duly elected. Again, now you're making accusations, that of course, again, coming from Vision Jones, who represents Al Sharpton. Now you're making the accusations that there was voter intimidation. Somehow, I guess, in the investigation of the alleged crimes. We're doing a lot of supposing and a lot of assuming. If you want to give me some examples, then give me some examples.
This is what I hope Al Sharpton will pay attention to, and I hope that Al Sharpton will really invite Chris Beckham on his show for clarification, so the American people will have the truth, because they deserve the truth. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing here, because I indeed want the American people to exercise their right under our free form of government. Let's continue.
If you want to tell me they went to Bob Smith's house and put a gun to his head and said, "Hey, you're going to say this," I mean, if you're going to give me some examples, then let's do it. Don't float charges out there that haven't been verified and backed up. And again, I'm not saying that these people are guilty. What I am saying is that we don't know yet. That's why the investigation is going on. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and take your calls on this. Whatever else is on your mind. 241-1059 is our number. Back with more of the Morning Drive right after this on News Talk 1059. This is WVGA.
More of the Morning Drive with Chris Beckham is coming up on News Talk.
And this is the way it was. And we simply want you to think about what you've heard. You can also go back on this channel, Boston G.B.R., and listen to the National Action Network spokesperson. Listen to Joseph Lowry, and you decide for yourself. This is the age that we're living in today, wherein Jesus said, according to the volume of sacred law, "And ye shall know the truth, and that the truth would make you free." And I say again, somewhere I read, "Come now, and let us reason together." One person cannot reason alone. And so I think Chris Beckham just may need to give Al Sharpton a call and explain what he meant here in Valdosta, Georgia, because the citizens, once again, have a right to know. This is the voice of the voiceless. And you can also Google Voice of the Voiceless and listen to Clyde Bradley out of Atlanta, who have a very close relationship with the Honorable Joseph Lowry. Bye-bye. We gone.